The President, please be seated. The court is back in session. As I advised the parties and members of the public this morning, that this afternoon the Chamber will hear the testimony of one of the civil parties, TCCP 169. And before I call in this civil party, the Chamber wishes to pronounce two rulings. And in this respect, I hand over to Judge Jean-Marc Lavenge to pronounce the ruling on two issues. One, the presentation of the documents by Mr. Hedder, and two, the warning of the Chamber against the international defense lawyer for Mr. Nguyen Chia, Mr. Andrew Inutzi.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. First and foremost, with respect to the observations made by the defense lawyers with respect to the presentation made by the Office of the Co-Prosecutors of an interview involving the accused, Mr. Ying Sari, conducted by Mr. Steve Hedder. Upon verification, the trial chamber acknowledges that, in effect, document E3/89 is indeed the said interview that was used by the International Co-Prosecutor during the hearing of the 10th of October. Nevertheless, the Chamber does not intend to amend its decision to postpone the presentation of Nguyen Chia's document presentations of the written documents authored by Mr. Steve Hedder until the Chamber decides that the concerned person shall be summoned to testify. The Chamber intends to clarify that such postponement is entirely consistent with the good administration of justice, and that it serves to avert repetitious arguments before this Chamber and does not in any way curtail or have a detrimental effect on the rights of the defense to refer to such documents at an appropriate time. With respect to the second oral decision of this Chamber concerning Counsel Andrew Ionutsi, sir, would you kindly rise? Over the course of this morning's hearing, Counsel Ionutsi, International Counsel for the Defense of the accused person, Nguyen Chia, proceeded once again to make several and various comments with a view to contest or criticize the decisions that had just been issued by the Chamber with respect to the conduct of proceedings. On many occasions, counsel had been forewarned that such behavior and such comments were inappropriate and that he was no longer authorized to continue. In addition to these comments, he addressed the President in a repeated manner by qualifying the President of this Chamber as a remarkable judge. The manner in which such comments were uttered and the tone with which counsel delivered such comments and addressed the President leaves no doubt of the discourteous and disrespectful nature of his comments, and is entirely insulting towards the President and indeed the entire composition of this chamber because of the entirely inappropriate and unacceptable behavior of the lawyer. The chamber solemnly and hereby warns Counsel Ianozzi that, pursuant to Rule 38 of the Internal Rules with respect to misconduct of a lawyer, continuance of such behavior may lead to refusal of his participation in this chamber and a refusal to be given audience. Thank you.
The President. Court officer is instructed to usher in the civil party TCCP 169 into the courtroom. The President. Good afternoon, civil party. What is your name?
Judge.
Response. Good afternoon, Mr. President. My name is Jim Sawan. President, thank you. Can you tell the court when you were born? Respond. I was born on the 5th of October 1960, says the civil party. Question. Where were you born? Response. I was born in Prek Traing village, Setbo commune, Saang district, Kandal province. The President, thank you. Where is your current address? Response. My present address is at house number 20, village 4, street 136, Angkapsa, Kandal, Phnom Penh. Questions. What is your occupation? Response. I stay at home. What is your father's name? Response. My father's name is Toch Sum and my mother's name is Tuj Lee. Question. How about your husband? What is his name and how many children do you have? Response. My husband's name is Kum Liang and I have 3 children. Question. From the 17th of April 1975 to the 6th of January 1979, where did you reside and what did you do? Response. From 19 1975 through 1979, I was a farmer and I was labeled as the 17 April people. And I lived in Phnom Penh. Question. Now, how about the period between the 17th of April 1975 through 1979? Where did you reside and what did you do? Response. From the 17th of April 1975 until the 6th of January 1979, I left Phnom Penh and I resided in Potiban Commune, Ang District, Kandal Province. And then I left Potiban Commune and I went to live in Dieng District, Posat Province. And in 1979, I returned to Phnom Penh. The President. In your capacity as the civil party, you may express the sufferings and the harms you have sustained materially and psychologically, which may be the direct injury sustained from the crimes committed during the period of the Democratic Cambodia. And you have been accorded the status as the civil party, and this is the time when you can express yourself in support of the prosecution of the crimes committed by the alleged accused, namely Mr. Nuon Chia, Khieu Sampon, and Ieng Sari. So it is the opportunity for you to express your suffering. And prosecutors, please be advised that in accordance with Rule 91 bis, you will be given the floor first to put question to the civil party, because the prosecutor were the moving party. As for the civil party lawyers, you will be given half a day to put the question to the civil party. I note the defense counsel is on his feet. You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, everyone. I just have a very brief comment to make about what you just said, and please do not take this in any way as a criticism. I heard you say crimes.
The President, this is not the right time for you to raise any comment because your time has not yet come, and now it is the turn of the prosecution to put the question. So, Mr. Prosecutor, you may proceed. You are not granted the floor to raise this observation, because the proceeding we are conducting now is the testimony of the civil party, and now it is the turn of the prosecution. You may proceed, Prosecutor.
Your Honor, I do not want to ask any questions. I want to simply make a comment about what you've just said. So I think this is the appropriate time.
You are not allowed to have the floor, because I am conducting the hearing now, and we are hearing the testimony of the civil party, Jum Sovan, and now it is the turn of the prosecutor. The prosecutor is the party given the floor first to put question to the said civil party. International lead co-lawyer for the civil party, you may proceed.
Yes, Mr. President, I crave your indulgence. We and the prosecution had decided to adopt a working method that took into account the instructions of the chamber. And we had decided that the civil parties would start the examination of the civil party, followed by the prosecutor. Is it possible to proceed in this manner, since we had received instructions from you regarding this matter?
The President, you may proceed. The lead co-lawyer for the civil parties may proceed with the questioning of the civil party.
Monsieur le Président, comme il est
Mr. President, as usual, may I inform you that the examination of the civil party will be by Mr. Sam Sukung and myself.
The President, Counsel, you may proceed. Lawyer Sam Sukung. Good afternoon, Mr. President, Your Honors, and good afternoon, Civil Party Yum Sawan. I have a number of questions to ask you that I would like to divide it into three parts. The first part, I would like to ask you what happened before 1975. My first question for you is, before 1975, where did you live? Response. Before 1975, I lived in Prek Trang, Saang district of Kandal province. Question. At your location in Kandal town, what was the situation there then? Response. In my district, it was very hard. There were Khmer Rouge soldiers and Lunnol soldiers were at war in the battlefield, and I fled to Phnom Penh in 1972. And I continued to stay in Phnom Penh until 1975. And my family status and condition were also the same, and we were in a medium situation. Question. When you moved to Phnom Penh in 1972, were you a student or were you doing any job by that time? Response. When I moved in Phnom Penh in 1972, I was not a student because I could not afford to go to school. I have a lot of difficulty then. Question to you is that when you arrived in Phnom Penh, you lived in Phnom Penh. So can you tell the court what was Phnom Penh like at that time? Response. When I was there, my uncle, my auntie in Bantier Slug, it was called Ang Tong Dong, and another barrack, it was called Kuze. I was there for about a few months, and then the Khmer Rouge soldier shelled the barrack, and Psa Damko was on fire, and I moved then to Olympic Stadium under the support by CARE, the organization to provide food for the refugee at the time. Question. You said that there was a fighting. So who were the party to the fighting? Response. During the night, I do not know where the shelling were coming from, but they were targeted at Lunnol residents. They start from 9 o'clock p.m. until 12 o'clock midnight. I was very scary, very terrified, and Psa Damko market was on fire. Question. What did you see at the hospital or in the street? Were there any the sick people or the corpse or any people get injured? Respond. Yes, at the hospitals there were the injured people and corpse all over the hospitals. Question. Before 1975, meaning that before the 17th of April 1975, what did your father's business or job? Response. I know that my father was a spy. It's only people in my family would know that. He was also a farmer from the people from outside. Question. Now I am moving to part number 2. I would like to ask you certain questions regarding the forced evacuation. My first question for you is that when the Khmer Rouge soldier arrived in Phnom Penh, did you see the situation in Phnom Penh? Were there any still fighting between the Khmer Rouge soldier and the Lon Nol soldier? Response. On the 17th of April 1975, the Khmer Rouge soldier arrived in Phnom Penh. The Lon Nol soldiers and the Khmer Rouge soldier were not in fighting because the Lon Nol soldier were defeated and surrendered. But the Khmer Rouge soldier violated the soldier of the Lon Nol and the people. I was terrified. Question. You said that in 1975, on the 17th of April, there was no fighting because Lon Nol soldier was surrendered. In this surrender, were the Lon Nol soldier were treated well, or were they tortured or executed? Response. I witnessed those events in front of Praput Pagoda. I was young. I took my sister to find my uncle because he was a soldier and he was defeated from Copsrow Dam. I saw those Khmer Rouge soldiers and I was wondering why they were in black uniform, in short hair, and they were fully armed, and I saw the tank, and I saw them beating people with the gun, with the rifle. I don't know why they violated the soldiers and also the 17 April people. I don't know why they hate us as the 17 April people. Why they consider us as a sworn enemy of them. Question. On the 17th of April 1975, in your family and including yourself, was there anyone came over to your house to ask you to leave your house? Response. I don't know who they were. I just heard that they call themselves comrade brother, and they came from different direction. And my father tried not to leave. It was in the evening, in the afternoon, about 3 o'clock. My father refused to leave, and I observed that, and they came with rifle and some dry rice. And they told my father, you must leave. If you don't do so, the Americans will drop the bomb on Phnom Penh. And my father rushed to pack the bag and to collect some rice and try to move out from my place. And it was very miserable to live. Question. Can you tell the court that you say there were different groups came over to your house? So what are they in different uniform, or can you describe to the court? Respond. I don't know who were they, but they were all in black uniform. Question. When you saw them in black uniform, were they armed at the time? Respond. Yes, they were armed, including men and women with the red scarf, and they were fully armed. I don't know those groups belong to what commander division or whatever. Question. When they arrived at your house and you saw that they were fully armed, what did they told you to leave Phnom Penh, especially to live away from your house? Response. They told us that the upper Angkar asked us to leave. We asked them, where can we go? And they told us to go to your home village for just 3 days. If you decide to stay, the American may drop the bombs and kill you. And we asked them, where are you from? They refused to give us any response. Question: other than your family members and you yourself, what happened to other Phnom Penh residents? Were they faced the same situation like yours? Response: in general, the 17 April people were in the same situation as they were living there in Phnom Penh. Question: when the Khmer Rouge soldier told you to leave your house, did they leave you enough time? How many hours so that you can pack your luggage or prepare to leave? Response: they gave us only 15 minutes. If we refuse to leave, they will enforce their measure. I saw in Orusai market, one of the houses was locked. When I returned from the market, when they knocked the door, and the door was not open, and they shut the lock, and when the people came out, they shot people to death, and I ran away from the scene. Question: when you left your residence, your house, did you witness anything at the hospital, including the sickness, were also evacuated out of the hospital? Response: yes, I saw at Borei Kaila Hospital, the wounded soldier were there, and the Khmer Rouge soldier were there, pushed them to drop them from the bed, and some of the wounded people were taken away with their relatives, whereas the other were left there with no relative, were left behind to be a death in the hospital. Question: in that hospital, can you tell the court where it was? Response: that hospital, during the Lonol regime, it was in Borei Kaila complex. It was one of the military hospital in Borei Kaila. It belonged to Lonol Army. I don't know the name, but I just know it was in Borei Kaila complex. Question: when you were evacuated and also your family members left your house, where did you live and what is your direction at that time? Response: on the 17th of April 1975 at about 3 p.m., I and my family members left along Psa Depot Market and went toward Stung Mien Chey, and we were blocked, and then we turned to Old Back Arm, and then we tried to to see my uncle who was in the military unit there, and I found no one there. What I saw were corpses over there. And my father decided to continue toward Po Chentong Airport on the road. And I saw corpses of soldiers along the road. I was very traumatized. I didn't see my uncle then. So when we were there at Po Chentong, and we went over and reached So Kwon Pagoda, and we tried to stay there for about 4 to 5 days. And then the Khmer Rouge soldier told us to move on, and we asked, where should we go? And they told us that wherever you want to go, you can do that. We tried to go to our birthplace, but we were prohibited because road number 3 was blocked, and also road number 4 is blocked, and there were a flood of people full of the street. People died along the street. Sometimes the kind of stampede where people died. I saw people use the car to move out, but there were too many people, and the Khmer Rouge soldier grabbed the driver from the car and then shot him to death. And the people was very terrified and ran away, and some people get lost, and family member also lost. What we can do is just to keep the small children in our chest, and then we try to continue our journey along National Road number 3 for 5 to 6 days until we reach Steng Kampong Tuol, and we stay there for a while. Question: talking about your travel of your family and other people from Phnom Penh, were you and were they travel? Were there any transport provided for that evacuation? Response: the people had to use their mean of transport, for example, car. Sometimes they were running out of gas. They try to use it to push it and load it with some stuff. People had to carry stuff on the shoulder and on the head. I saw many things. Question: for your family, were there any difficulty for your travel from one place to another place until you reach the destination? Response: my family and other 17 April people were exposed to the same difficulty. We were horrified. There's no money, no food, no water along the road. Question: A while ago you said that there were many, many people on the road, and there was also stampede, and there was the sick people, and also people died during those evacuation. Were the sick people get any treatment from the Khmer Rouge soldier or the Khmer Rouge during your trip? Respond, no, there was none. Question, based on your observation, when you were traveling on the road, you saw the corpses. Were those corpses civilian corpses or military corpse of the Lon Nol soldier? Response, I saw those corpses along the road at the airport. They were in uniform, military uniform, and I didn't dare to go close because I was scary, and I tried to stay away from that. Question, when you saw corpses along the road and also the wounded people, did you witness anyone prepare any funeral or bury any corpse at all? Respond, no, not at all. When I was evacuated along the road, there was no funeral at any kind under Khmer tradition. Question, if those corpses were not collected or were not kept in the right order, were they scattered everywhere, or they were piled up in such a condition? Respond, I found the corpses were scattered everywhere. No one take care of the corpse or organize any funeral at all. Question, you said that those corpses were scattered everywhere, and you said that at that time there were too many people and very crowded on the road. Were the corpses stepped on by the people and run over by any vehicle? Respond, no, the corpses were not on the road. They were in the ditch or on the roadside. I saw one person was shot to death when he was in a car, when a car was pushing by other people, and then the Khmer Rouge soldier just picking him up and shot him to death on the roadside. Question, you and your family, when you were evacuated from Phnom Penh, can you go to the destination you wish to go? Response, we wished to suitable village of Ang district, but we could not go there. We went to another district. Question: when you arrived your destination as prepared by other people, were there any arrangement for you to stay and live there? Response: no, there were no arrangement or organization at all. So we just been there and had to live there. Question: when you lived there, what was the condition of your living at that place? Response: as I am one of the 17 April person, I arrived later than other people. I went to Kotom district in Saang, so I was one of the last to arrive. I stay in Sampan Le Pagoda. I spent there for one night. I heard people say that when you are there, Angkar are there to receive you. And they told me that they cook the rice mixed with corns, and they were ready for you. When I saw the rice cooked mixed with the corn, I was crying, and my father told me that he wanted to try to cross the river to another side of the river to find his friend, and then we crossed the river to stay in Potiban village. And then the base people there, even though my uncle's friends try to cause trouble to us, they try to ask from us clothing, any valuables they wanted. They feel dislike us. They search us for anything of value, and they express a hatred against us. And they made us to work without providing any tools, and they blame us for being 17 April people, for being bad people. I don't understand why they considered us like this. I tried to work until I fell sick, and when I fell sick, they forced me to lie down in the sun, and they insulted me by saying I have a kind of ideological fever. It's not a real fever.
My last question to you, in relation to your eviction out of Phnom Penh, and you got to Kotom, and you said that you lost your parents. Then, do you know why your parents were executed? Response: I'm sorry, I do not understand your question. Can you please repeat it?
No.
Question: when you were being evicted out of Phnom Penh, according to your earlier statement, you said that you were evicted to stay at Pung Khun and Kai Rương village and pagodas, and then finally you reached Koh Thom district. Along the long journey on foot, were there any members of your family died along the way?
ចានេះខ្ញុំទៅដល់វត្ត
Response: When I reached Kai Rung pagoda, we stayed there for 3 days, and then we were moved again out of the place. And we actually intended to go back to our hometown, but we were not allowed to go. So we continue our journey to Samraung Jaung. Then we move on from Samraung Jaung to further to another place I cannot recall. So we had to travel on foot the whole day, and we could not reach that destination. And we were too exhausted at that time, and then people took us by an ox cart. And my father told people who came to take us that we could no longer walk on foot because my younger brothers and sister were too exhausted already. So my father took the watch off his hand and then gave it to them, and they took us all the way to Praing Ambal. And then they did not allow us to go to the direction we wanted to go actually, but we had to beg them to let us go. And then we met the Khmer Rouge soldier. They ordered that we stay there on a short period of time, and then we will move again to Sampang to on a boat, and then we reach another bank of the river. But on this journey, none of our family members died. Question. This is my last of the last question. When you eventually reach the destination you were supposed to go, did the Khmer Rouge soldiers convene you and your families to a meeting where your family's biography were taken?
ចាទៅដល់
Response. When we reached Potiban commune, we met people who ordered that we prepared our biographies. We attended a meeting, and in following the meeting, they told us to submit our biographies, and then we were made to work immediately. They made us work in the field immediately after that. Mr. Sokung, Mr. President, that is all for me for the civil party. I would like to hand over to my esteemed colleague. But before I finish, I would like to thank the civil party, Ms. Yum Savan, for answering my questions. The President, thank you. The time is now appropriate for an adjournment. The Chamber will adjourn now until 3 o'clock this afternoon. But before we adjourn, the Chamber wishes to advise the co-prosecutors as well as the civil party lead co-lawyer that you have only 1 more hour to go. So please consult with one another as to the time allocation between your 2 teams. Thank you. The court is now adjourned.